gender equality is really at the heart of the social justice, the mandate of the ILO. And this requires knowing where we stand, what we have learned, what else should we focus on, and perhaps more importantly, where we want to be.
I think there is particular resonance and particular importance to marking International Women's Day here in the International Labour Organization. Historically, we know that International Women's Day has its roots in labour issues and the labour movement. That's not just a historic accident. It is because I believe that the struggle for equality is intimately linked to the struggle for social justice in the world of work. We also have, I believe, an ambiguity in trends. We tend to look at the situation too frequently by anecdotes, that we've advanced on a certain indicator here, we've gone backwards in another place elsewhere. I think progress is uncertain, and I don't think that it is fast enough. I don't think we should be less ambitious. I think we should take a very thorough stock-taking of where we stand, a very thorough evaluation of the achievements of what we have done up until this point, and then use our creativity and our commitment to set a road forward, which, who knows, I don't prejudge the outcomes, might look somewhat different from what we've done up to now.
I think we haven't adequately come to grips with both the nature and the implications of women's migration for work, because too much of public policy across the world and even in international organizations is still based on the male breadwinner model of migration. What we've had, because of this dramatic increase over the past 3 decades in women migrating for work, is, along with many other things, the globalization of the care economy. We now have what you might call a supply chain of global care, where, let us say, women in the advanced economies of Northern Europe and the United States and elsewhere are able to hire often migrant women, let's say, for example, from the Philippines, to undertake some of the care which, given the gender construction of society, is still seen as the responsibility of the women in the household. Those women who have migrated, in turn, are able, through the wages they earn here, to pay for some woman, let us say a rural migrant, to look after their children and do their household work where they come from, which, in fact, in most economies we find has a very tempering effect on the macroeconomy and on balance of payments, because the remittances that these women send are found to be invariant to the business cycle in both the place of origin and the destination. So they're hugely stabilizing as well. One important lesson that comes from all of this is the role of public provision. You cannot adequately recognize unpaid work, not just in the care economy, but in other productive activities, without public provision of basic infrastructure, and of course public provision of care services that reduces the unpaid care, and which of course, because it's formal, gives you better conditions of work, gives you formalized work. So public provision, I believe, is of the essence. But if I have to give you, let me say, 3 directions to go along with the 3 processes that I've highlighted, I would say broadly in 3 words: recognize, formalize, and organize. I think we have to recognize women's work, we have to formalize women's work, and public provision is a very key element of this, and we have to organize women workers in whatever they are doing.
What is the most significant change in the position of women? I think it is to do in the whole nature of the change in capitalism, from state-managed capitalism into a globally marketized, privatized, deregulated system. And very importantly, that has been accompanied by an ideological change. The post-war spirit was social solidarity, collective action, participatory democracy, tripartism. Today, the values in the world are individual choice, personal autonomy, meritocracy. And women are told that they will only succeed through individual advancement by being more career-oriented. And that, if we look at the results of that, we see that although there's been an increase in the participation of women in the workforce, the quality of employment has not significantly changed. Women who enter the labor market are generally much better educated than they were before, but they still have a difficult time finding work. And when they do find work, It's generally segregated, poorly paid, insecure, home-based, or informal. So in other words, the roots of gender inequality lie in the socio-cultural traditions of countries and also in the structures of employment and in the way we measure economic value. And what we need is a radical transformation so that women have opportunities the same as men and restores those principles of social solidarity, collective action, participatory democracy.
We are coming to the limits of the equality approach. In a way, we have to move beyond equality. And that doesn't mean, as also your Director General said, that we should leave behind and say that it was not worthwhile to have an equality approach. But actually what we need is structural change. Because in a way, we really have to address the fact that for the 21st century, where women, the workforce has been feminized so strongly in most parts of the world, we need men and women to play equal roles in work and at home and elsewhere. And we will not be able to do that with compromise strategies and just say, well, we will give and take a bit of childcare and we will give and take a bit of other facilities. We still see, even in the most advanced part of the world, women have not been able to crack the glass ceiling, really. Women have been not able to crack let's say, the equality in terms of promotion, etc. The income gap generally between men and women is enormous and is growing. So if we don't think about what that means, structural change, rather than adding women to the picture and having compromise strategies to solve the problems, then I think that is not going to do the trick.
Les sociétés africaines, plus que les autres, subissent les pesanteurs économiques et sociales. Nous sommes dans un continent africain où vous avez énormément de richesses, mais dont les habitants profitent le moins. Et si vous descendez au niveau de l'entreprise, il y a également d'autres discriminations, parce que les femmes ne sont pas suffisamment encouragées. Il ne suffit pas de mettre en place des lois, ni un arsenal juridique, cela est insuffisant. Il faut prendre des mesures efficaces pour éradiquer ce mal qui est si profondément ancré en nous, puisqu'il s'agit de nos sociétés.